could not celebrate the Africa Day, but our plan is that we will have the celebration of women. I think there is nothing wrong with that, as to so we can still celebrate the Africa Day June 9th. I think one of the things Chairperson that I must report and read the portfolio committee on is the issue of currents from SA. Remember when we were meeting in Shepstein, we were looking forward that on the very same day, if the concurrence letter from the Minister of SA, unfortunately, it didn't go and received the concurrence letter on the 21st of May, but at least now we have the concurrence letter from the Minister, and not only the some of the things we are planning and preparing for the new department in terms of restructuring the new department. Okay, we are taking that into account as our plans going forward. But as the Chairperson, we have lost one of our legends that was very keen to back one unfortunately, I could not attend, but the Chairperson attended, and the provincial government was represented by Honorable Lubengube. And as the Department of Arts and Culture, we contributed towards the funeral of our legends and understanding the role to play for our province, being the ambassador. I remember when I met the portfolio committee, I was brought in recreation. That's all I'm going to on this one, but in Amka, when we have the physical meeting about the land, it was not arts and culture, by the way, so I'm not prepared to do this thing today. Who is it the day today? How long is how the day? Oh, no. Hey, yeah, I don't know if I said because you would never have. So our plans are in place and making the new department and trying to put everything in so that we work because we have been delayed. Jefferson, we are also facing challenges in terms of the coronation of the king. There are delays in the and it also delays our plans in terms of the activities that we are doing within the group, because we cannot continue with our plans in terms of the activity that we're ingakenziwa i-coronation. So ke siyacabanga ukuthi masishane that will be end ukuze sikwazi ukusebenza ngendlela eya phambili. Chairperson, I think it's also prudent for me to apologize to the committee. Now, like hearing that in our last portfolio, this scholar was not in attendance. Yes, apologize, but it's important for me, head of the department, also to tender. But we will present all the documents as requested by the portfolio committee in terms of what from us, as much as she is not amongst us. We apologize that she could not attend physically in meeting graduation. Siyesicele ukuthi ba-attend abantwana bethu ngoba bevamisile ukungabanaki bese kuqondana kabi beqondane nalolu suku olubaluleke kangaka portfolio. Not that we are under the portfolio committee. We are still standing on the commitments that we have made to the once the portfolio committee has given us an opportunity to report on the matters that we have committed to do those presentation, in other issues So I'm looking forward for the portfolio committee that opportunity so that the team and sinikeze honorable opportunity ukuthi akwazi ukubhala phinde ayovula namanye amacala ngoba is good in doing that. So with that, Honorable Chairperson, I think I must not take the luxury of time with you today, except to say tomorrow, sinengoma kaZwelonke, zimenyiwe ke bakithi engomeni kaZwelonke nathi as a department we have contributed in making sure ukuthi in terms of social cohesion, siyayazi indima edlalwa amabhinca ukuthi ihamba ukhalo olungakanani. So there's siyacela ukuthi sibe khona. So we are invited into activities. The time there's various things to be confirmed for the Africa Day celebration.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, MSC, for this. I don't know if Honorable has anything to be appraised with on what the MSC has just said. There's no cutters, no friend with going Kusho MSC ukuthi ngabona nicele isikhathi I'm happy that we have touched on the restructuring of the department because that's a very, very important thing that we are looking at so that it becomes convenient for us to work. Because I can enzima njengokungazi ukuthi uyaphambili but I'm happy that that is being taken into consideration. I must also appreciate MSC, the contribution that was made to Deborah Fraser funeral. I think it's always important that when we do burials for people like her, we must indicate so that SAFSA will know and people will know so that there's no assumption. Because when you talk to some families, they will tell you another story. So it's always good for us to know that I is contributing that one is taking care of us. Well, do you have any comment before we move on with our agenda? You know, it's very interesting because I was asked to be part of the funeral, and you know, I remember one time, ngathola umbuzo ophuma kumphetho uthi lokuthandaza ukuwenza kuleyani ukhokhele emalini. Unfortunately, I was never considered. So that's a challenge that I have that when they do these burials of these people, but no, as it's for MC, it's now it falls off like no, but yeah, thank you very much. I think it puts us on a certain map when we are involved and participating in things like that, though it may not be something department. But lastly, MSC also, when we get the invitations like Leah Sasa, it might be in some way by the to go MSC. But I would love to have my invite to must invite you coming on time so that we can reprioritize diaries. But we really would love to come and be part of those. As no sport in the corner. ngoba asina ubudlelwano obuqinile ukuthi kukhona imeshe esingayibuka ozosinika ngoba nakuma-games la njengabantu abasebenza ndawonye i-arts culture nesport hayi kusho ukuthi sekufanele sikhululeke kodwa mina ngingasho honorable members kubalulekile ukuthi lezi simonakala say we represent the community kuba kuhle ukuthi we must go and mingle with the people so I will emphasize also as much as I also have commitments tomorrow but I will end up the honorable MEC kufanele ngigcine iy'ngubo zami ey'fanelekile ngoba ngizophuma kumcimbi bese ngishintsha-ke emotweni sengingena ebheshini lami nami sengiyokwenza umsebenzi wokudansela ingoma. Thank you very much, Honorable Chifu.
Just one comment clear. I must also echo the sentiment we welcome the report. There has been a step taken by GPSA, but you know, in some parts of the report, this is other way, indications to there were certain under expenditures as a result of certain posts that were not filled because they were affected by the measure that was not entered when using the account because they need to come to the party. So we must that and we look with keen interest again in terms of the organogram going forward, what is going to happen, how is it going to affect the operations as well as once everything is actually finalized. But just to also appreciate the MEC. Wherever we take the portfolio, without fail, unless there is something really side of their own capabilities, the MEC is always. And I think we must really appreciate that in your team. You respect us to a point of which wherever we go, you always make it a point towards a figure, just so that you're able to fully account to them. And it's something that does not go unnoticed. It's something that we must really encourage that continue. It's something that we are seeing. So we are regressive. So we must really say it does not go unnoticed with your whole team. Every time we have our meetings, wherever the meetings are, you are always enjoy. I think it's one of the
Thank you, Honorable Chifu. Without any further ado, we will then move to the issue of the minutes were distributed or we have dealt with them. It's only a matter of adoption today. Oh, okay. Ngiyocela ngiqale Honorable VA Kaluza.
VP, yo.
Oh, VP Kaluza. Slash Bandai. Slash Bishop.
Sisiphethe kade ngomzini umuntu wasesayidi.
Oh, society. Ngikhipha page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Six. Adoption. Madam Chairperson, MSc, Madam MSc, Department staff, honorable members, I propose the adoption. Thank you very much, Mr. Pepper, and the second member. Honorable. Oh. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. We move to the presentations by the department, where we are going to be looking at the fourth quarter report, the financials and non-financials. We'll then look at AMAFA, financials and non-financials. Let me say before you do your presentations, just before you do them, you see, there was a comment when we were doing the budget, when we were debating the budget. One of the people who were debating, the debatee, felt like now that this department is together, whoa, and he said, when the sports was all by itself, they were doing very well. Getting a clear report. And then he said, now that we are coming together, he feels that there's going to be trouble. So I truly believe that statement will be checked up. We'll make sure that we do our best. And I always say, you know, when we explain, it is okay, but it's not like acceptance. Because an explanation is an explanation of saying we have not done it. And I always recommend, when you explain something that you have never done, come again with a turnaround strategy so that you silence us instead of us explaining all the time why we did not do what we're supposed to do, including answering the things that you think we are going to ask, you know, because you know that. I'm just saying that, you know, in passing, because we will be encouraged when this department is coming with a clean audit. Unfortunately, when that happens, we'll definitely appreciate MSC and clap hands. But when it's not happening, make sure, and you know that we are on your space. It has nothing to do with the embassy. It has everything to do with you. It's always happened with moments that I say home. Shy izandla. Kodwa uma ungenzanga kahle asibeke umholi. Sibheka labo bantu abasuke befanele benze umsebenzi. Supporter ukuthi umsebenzi wenzeke kahle. I'm just saying that because I believe ukuthi one of the days we will turn around things like arts and culture. Thank you very much. MSc, I did get the apology, I did get the apology, CFO. We are going to be dealing with finances. So I believe you have appointed, somebody has been appointed to do the finances.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. We are noting your comments very seriously. And I think you were much polite in terms of trying to repeat what the honorable member said when he was debating on the day of the budget speech. It was clear, obviously, as these departments are coming together to attend cultures of so our plans in place together with the acting HOD is to make sure that we are leaving no stone unturned and trying to make every effort to be accountable and do things according to the book. And when we have not done well, indeed, Chairperson will come up with the mitigation strategy in terms of how are we going to correct those things. Chairperson, the acting HOD is going to make the presentation on the financials as the CFO is not amongst us. But in terms of the questions, we have asked the CFO to join us virtually so that we will be able to respond on issues. Then the non-financials will be presented by Ms. Shafika. So both of them are here physically. So all the presentation are going to be done physically here. Then in terms of responding to questions, we will ask the indulgence of the committee members that will also include those that are not part of the meeting physically here, that will be connected through the technology, Chairperson. So we'll allow Dr. Ndlovu to make a presentation on the financials. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Ndlovu. Okay. This is our first meeting. Happy birthday, Honorable Chair. That must be put on record. Leana just so that I'm trying to happy birthday. We submit to the committee. We are celebrating. It's dedicated. It's dedicated to you. My wife tomorrow. To your wife tomorrow. Wow. Dr. Ndlovu, siyaqala naye emhlanganweni committee. Udokotela Ndlovu uthe engena nje wabeshisa umlilo. Namhlanje kuseni ngesikhathi sahambele lapha i-ATSEC. Ngiyacabanga lokho uzwile already Dr. Ndlovu has served a very long time with the she has headed the programs, serious one, a couple of years ago, HIV/AIDS program. We're working together there, I must declare. Yes, yeah, conflict of interest. No, and she did a perfect work. We're encouraging the young people, to take care of themselves. Looking at a generation without HIV, we're calling them an HIV/AIDS generation, and we are still going there. We don't lose hope. You are welcome, Dr. Ndlovu. She is acting at the moment since our departments are combined together. She is our acting national team. You are welcome. Thank you, Dr. Ndlovu. Up to you.
Apologies, Chair, because last time they have in a joint meeting. Yes. I was just here in a joint meeting. So apologies for not properly introducing Dr. Ndlovu to the portfolio committee. Meeting with the same faces now and again create this confusion. It was not deliberate, Chair. My apologies even to Dr. Ndlovu.
Thank you very much, Chair. I will quickly go through the presentation of the financial. And I think the first part summarizes the report, and subsequently then goes into each program. As you will see that when we go into each program, and we are always repeating, I will summarize at the beginning. The summary is that on page 3, we managed to spend 88% of the budget, with the administration being the lowest at 76%, and cultural affairs at 92%. But looking at the economic classification and the compensation of employees, sitting at 82%, and the goods and services at 75%, transfers and subsidies at 99 and 91. Overall, we spent 896 million against a budget of 1 billion, and an under expenditure of 120 million as occurred. As you would have indicated, the compensation of employees was low, and the reason is because we were merging in the two departments. There was an issue of saying we needed to look at the employees when we were employing new ones and make sure their duplication, because we were still going to go through the process of merging and matching and placing and making sure, because there's a commitment that every employee in the new department will be employed. So that process needed us to finalize the structure. The under expenditure against goods and services that were incurred, firstly, it's in the area of training, travel, and subsistence payments, which are under because of COVID, where the staff were trained not physically but virtually, but also the traveling was much lower, with most of our meetings being virtual. Also, expenditure relating to the procurement of library books material was lower than expected, as the process of SCM took longer to appoint. And then eventually when it was done, there was a further delay due to appeals that came through, where the Treasury had to do investigations and make sure that the process was okay. And we do want to say they did finalize it, and they recommended that we go ahead. By then, we were already late. The last part is that to program 2 was the under expenditure of program 2 due to operational costs relating to Music House, where we are it's closed due to the renovations that are being undertaken. Also on program 2, the issue of plan for the stage of King Shaka, which needed to be erected. The department paid for the first tranche, and the invoice was not invoiced by the supplier subsequently. In the area of subsidies, the under expenditure is reflecting at 2.8 million, and one relates to the transfers, and the transfers are in two areas: the fact Devon rocks and the on time. And obviously, again, it's an event. There was a lower transfer due to COVID-19 in terms of the fact Devon rocks. When one of the event was cancelled. Department paid in terms of the proposal on time, and the proposal was lower than what had been budgeted. We also had a balance of 1.7 that relates to transfers against non-profits, whereas they were budgeted for against this category. What happened in this category is that it was a budget against this category of non-profits, and then we found out that some of them were actually not non-profit, so we had to look at shifting the environment of those funds so that they could be paid under the correct category. As well as the transfers in Duba municipality for Dubu Library. This process took long. There were delays in terms of the MOA with the municipality, and also for staffing and operational costs for that. And with that delay, it therefore meant the MOA was only signed in March, which was now at the end of the financial year. It is anticipated that the completion of the library itself will be in May, and the funds that are committed under signed MOA at the municipality will be paid. We also have another under expenditure under motor vehicles and computer equipment. They were ordered the vehicles under DOT, the transversal contracts, but the delay in the delivery of the vehicles also resulted in expenditure. In terms of under expenditure under buildings and fixed structures, there were processes that we needed to finalize towards the end of the financial year to correct that under expenditure. Some have been classified as current expenditure, therefore we had to move the money into the buildings to correct that, hence the under expenditure in that area. Community library services grant, again under expenditure of 20 million rand, due to the process of finalizing the panel for the suppliers. And I think that has already been indicated, and the department was given approval only in January, as we indicated. Now, that 20 million has resulted on slide 10 in a request for rollover of the 20 million that is in under expenditure. But also under some of the others, the under expenditure, there is also a request for a rollover from an equitable share for 3.9 million rand, and also against transfers in terms of 270 for those out councils that we found that they were not non-profit, but were private enterprise. They are these amounts we requested for rollover because they were committed through the signed MOAs with those entities. The department has also applied for environment in terms of shifting funds, and the submission has been submitted to Treasury. The EPWP grant, and it's one of the questions which had been asked in our last meeting, it was spent at 100% as per the budget. Then the program goes into each program now. As you see on program 1, it was 76% the expenditure, and under program 1, we are indicating, therefore, this is where you'll see that the same comes back now, now that we are discussing it, and we are showing the economic classification in terms of program 1, page 13, compensation of employees, the transfers, the payments of capital, and the discussion, therefore, overall in program 1, there was 45 million that was underspent under compensation, and this is the highest amount, and this is as it has been discussed. These are the posts that had non-critical posts that needed to be filled, and that resulted in the under expenditure. Also, goods and services that were underspent again. I think it's bringing back, it's the issue of training falls under program 1, the issue of the leases, and also travel and subsistence allowance. We are indicating under program 1 that EPWP was spent at 100% of the cost of the budget. On slide 15, the transfers to provinces and municipalities, there was an underspending of 164,000 in respect of payments of licenses, and these were two disposals in terms of those costs. Under expenditure in terms of households, it was fewer applications that we had received in terms of vessels, machinery and equipment. It has indicated it's the procurement of the vehicles, which we indicated that transport was not, they were not able to deliver on time due to global shortage. We also had under expenditure around the area of software and intangible assets, 1.5 million budgeted for electronic signature. We only concluded on that quite late, and it only started in the new financial year. But the project will be continuing in this financial year, including the installation of your UPS to protect our IT. Financial assets was with respect of staff debt write-off that were older than 3 years, that were not recoverable. Program 2, it's 92%, and the lowest is under management. And using the economic classification on slide 18, as it will show, payment of capital assets was the lowest, but overall here, program 2 was 92%. Here was a 24 million under expenditure. Compensation of employees comes back again, and it will be across all the programs as we indicated. And then goods and services, it was due to the events that we did not spend lower than what it had been anticipated, particularly Africa Day in 2021 was a good day due to the lockdown, but they were held with a less number of people. In addition, it was the operational cost for KZN and house. Transfers and subsidies under program 2, again, as I had indicated under summary, it's the fact Devon works, which was cancelled due to COVID-19. We have an under expenditure on buildings, 8 million, and this is against the upgrade of Uchungulu Art Center and the Winston Churchill. There were delays in the appointment of these contractors. They closed in 2021. The department was unable to commence the upgrade in Winston Churchill because there were illegal occupants that were in the building that needed to be evicted. And the department has now decided to do the projects in 2 phases. Phase 1 being to upgrade the theatre first, and then phase 2 to look at the accommodation portion. But there are discussions that are ongoing in terms of resolving the issue of Winston Churchill. Contractor was appointed in February, and the site was handed over only in March. That is all. And then the department anticipates completing the project in 2023 in terms of the Winston Churchill. With regards to the existing structure was vandalized and the site was waterlogged, and the center needed to be upgraded. The department appointed project managers to assess, and then the assessments were presented and they were approved. And now we're hoping we should be the plan is to advertise the tender for Uchungulu Art Center to be able to meet the target. I think these are the major projects that resulted in the under expenditure. On program 3, on page 22, it's 90% in terms of the overall expenditure. And again here, looking at the economic classification, 100% on transfers and payments of capital assets with the lower expenditure on current payments, both employees but also goods and services that are low. Expenditure under this program was 470 million rand against 521, and the 50 million was under. We list the employees that the posts that needed to be filled. Only 8 posts under community library services were approved. And in terms of the grants, we have requested a rollover in this program that we've signed. Under goods and services, the delays were on the books, and I had explained it in the summary at the front of this report. Transfers and subsidies under expenditure by 1 million rand, again due to the library, and as I've indicated at the summary, I have explained it, but here it's explaining it's under program 3, where we now should be in the process of implementing in this financial year. Households, 29,000 due to staff that exited, and therefore the costs were lower. Delayed delivery of computers, it's under program 3. We were not able to, this was due to the lockdown. Then there is an over expenditure against buildings in this program as a result of repair to the library service head offices exceeding the budget. And this project is being managed under Department of Public Works. There are specifically exclusively appropriated allocations. That means it's the museum services, the operational costs of art centers, and the provincialization of libraries. And this, the budget against expenditure is at 100%. It was fully spent as a result of those ones. Community library services grant. We would have mentioned it under the summary. This is where under expenditure due to the posts which had been initially not approved, and then we did get approval in January for the community library posts that we are supposed to be finalizing to do. But that is where the under expenditure came from. Also, goods and services was due to the library books that we've indicated, and the library again falls under this grant. Holdings and fixed assets, the department effective payments for tracking of poles and steering generators. It's community library services. The budget includes constructions of all the libraries such as Shire Williamson, Victoria, and these were not done, all of them, due to challenges either with the sites that have not been confirmed. And that's an area that is a challenge where we rely on having to have sites approved and confirmed by the municipality before the work will start. And that is why here there is an under expenditure. Computers, as we indicated again in terms of this, we have requested over this area. On infrastructure, I think we are showing that for new infrastructure, there was a budget of 77 million, expenditure was 51 with the under on 26, but upgrades, the expenditure was at 15. I gave 15 million against 7.5, which was higher, and refurbishment was higher. So the one is the new ones. The budget in this infrastructure project, we are including therefore Utubulu and Winston Churchill, which we were not able to upgrade as we had indicated due to illegal occupants. And the department, and then in Utubulu, we appointed the project managers to be able to assist and get the project going. Refurbishment over expenditure can be attributed to the repairs to the library services as we indicated. The department had budgeted 12 million, but 19 was spent as a result of over expenditure of 7 million. In addition, the department did erect park homes as a way of making up for some of the lower expenditure in this category. And also installing generators to 10 million and undertook maintenance projects in various provinces with an expenditure of 6.8. For new infrastructure, this is reflecting the underexpenditure in terms of those libraries that we could not confirm in terms of science, therefore they were not able to be constructed. And I will stop there, Chairperson. Thank you. I did say thank you, Chair.
Okay. Thank you very much for the presentation. I think one of the members who can ask questions when we have also done the financial sections.
Good morning, Honorable Chairperson, MEC and Honorable Members, Acting HOD and colleagues present. I will take you through the non-financials. And just to start off, I've done a fourth quarter as well as I've done a summary of the closeout report as well. So I will do both in this presentation. In slide 2, it's basically an introductory slide indicating that during this financial year, we were still limited with regards to COVID. However, with the easing of some of the regulations, we were able to do much of our work to start again. We were also limited with regards to the imikosi KwaZulu, which we usually do, as there were still succession challenges that the MEC had indicated is still ongoing in terms of during the opening remarks. In slide 3, I will do a summary of Program 1. For quarter 4, we achieved a 7 out of the 11 indicators in this program. I will go through where we did not achieve and focus on those areas. And in terms of the closeout for the financial year, we achieved 9 out of the 14 for Program 1. In terms of areas where we did not achieve for quarter 4, the first one is with regards to the vacancy rate that relates to our equity targets for women and people with disability. The department was unable to fill posts, and hence we were unable to meet the equity targets. We did, however, meet the vacancy rate overall, as we had to remove, as a department, some of the posts which were unfunded due to the merger, as part of the process of the merger, and hence we were able to achieve that target. With regards to the audit and risk management plan, we were able to achieve that, and we also conducted 7 compliance reviews in quarter 4. We were unable to achieve in terms of the expenditure. We had the report as to the areas of non-achievement with regards to expenditure. We under-expended by 11% versus the targeted 2%. Page 5, in terms of the procurement of goods, we did achieve the target. In terms of designated groups, we surpassed our target, and we achieved 80% of the against the 30% of our target. In terms of where we did not achieve was the payment of invoices within 30 days. We achieved 99% against the 100%. Overall, on page 6, for quarter 1, it's just to give a picture as we've gone through the quarters. Quarter 1, we achieved 67% as a department. Quarter 2, 55% for Program 1. Quarter 3, 63% for Program 1. Quarter 4, 64%, and an overall closeout of 64% for quarter 1. In terms of Program 2, for the fourth quarter, we achieved 7 out of the 8 targets. We were monitoring 8 targets. We achieved 7 of them. And at the end of the year, we achieved 24 out of the 31 indicators. In summary, in quarter 4, the target that we did not achieve for quarter 4 related to the significant days celebrated, and it was not achieved due to the imikosi that were planned that could not be held. So that was the indicator not achieved. So in summary, quarter 1 for Program 2, quarter 1 we achieved 31%. In quarter 2 we achieved 79%. Quarter 3, 63%. Quarter 4, 88%. And close out, please, Honourable Chair, it is not 81%, but rather 77%. So that is a correction, if we can please accept that correction. So it is not 81%, as at close out, it is 77%. In page 9 is a summary of program 3. In terms of program 3, there were 3 indicators we were reporting on for quarter 4, and none of the 3 indicators were achieved. So we had a 0% achievement for quarter 4. I will explain when I go through the tables the reason for non-achievement. Overall, the department's achievement was 50%. There are 8 targets. In program 3, we achieved 4 of the 8 targets. So at closure, we were 50%. In terms of the indicators that were not achieved in quarter 4, the first one has to do with internet connectivity. There were 3 libraries that we could not connect due to issues. They were not ready in terms of infrastructure, electricity, etc. And then there were 11 libraries that were not connected. We were engaging with 2 municipalities, Umhlatuzi and Greater Kokstad, which together have 11 libraries. We were attempting to enter into a MOA with them to support them. However, this did not materialize, and hence there was an underachievement in that regards. In terms of the indicator with regards to the National Library for the Blind, as much as the MOA was signed and there was progress against the MOA, the indicator was not achieved, as there were certain devices that were not procured within the financial year. It was procured outside in April, and hence, because some of the deliverables in the MOA were not achieved, the indicator overall is not achieved. The third indicator that was not achieved in this quarter relates to libraries built. There were 4 out of the 12 libraries that were built, so it was unachieved. Overall summary, quarter 1, this program, we achieved 20%. Quarter 2, we achieved 50%. Quarter 3, 60%. Quarter 4, 0%. And overall, we have 50%. Page 11 is just the scorecard for quarter 4, giving the information in a summarized scorecard. Chair, I will go through the tables, but only focus on where we have not achieved and include the corrective actions. And this would be achievement overall as at the closeout. The tables provide a summary of all the quarters, and then the closeout is in green. So you can see against the targeted what we achieved. So I will focus on where we did not achieve. On page 13, the area of non-achievement talks to percentage of people with disabilities employed in the department. And there was no achievement in this regard because there was a moratorium in the filling of posts. Once the posts have been advertised, then we will aim to look at our strategies towards appointing people with disabilities. In terms of females, a percentage of females at SMS level, again, there was. Oh, okay. Sorry. Sorry about that, Chair. A percentage of females at SMS level, again, we did not achieve. We achieved 45% against the 50%, and this is also due to the moratorium in the filling of posts. Page 14, we have achieved in all the targets. The last target that talks to our percentage of orders awarded to youth, women, people with disabilities. It's an overachievement, and hence we've had to put a variance statement. Page 15, I will focus on the area we did not achieve, which is the percentage of payments within 30 days. We achieved 99%. And this is mainly due to issues related to suppliers'